Hey everyone, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we have the brand new 2024 Toyota Grand Highlander, and we're going to do the front grille chrome delete installation for this vehicle. So as you can see, this is how it looks before doing the installation on the front panel, and this is how it looks after the installation. So we used the gloss black material in order to black out the entire panel and also to match it with the lower section of the grille. Link for the product will be provided below, but with that being said, let's start with the installation video. So before we start with the installation for the front panel, we need to make sure we prep the entire grille. So all we need is water and baby shampoo mixed together in a spray bottle. Once you have your solution, spray it onto a clean microfiber towel and make sure to start removing any contaminants that the front chrome will have. And then once you finish removing all the contaminants, make sure that everything's completely dry. That way the adhesive on the film is able to tack down to the panel. And also, just to make sure the film doesn't get any contaminants, just clean around the surrounding area of the chrome panel, just in case it does touch, let's say, the front or the bottom section of the panel. So once we finish prepping the panel, now we can start with the installation. With this one, just make sure wherever you align it, you start from one end. And when you notice you start from one end, you will have a little bit of excess material on the other end. So that's perfectly fine. You could just trim it off on this small little cutout that the front panel has. So once you have it aligned on one end, you can use the top half of the panel as the guide in order to align the film to the chrome. So once you finish placing the film onto the chrome panel, just grab your squeegee and start tacking down the entire film. Make sure to remove all of the air that's trapped underneath the film if there is any. So start from the top and then little by little work your way to the bottom section. So for the bottom piece, all you need to do is start from the middle and use your squeegee to wrap it underneath the panel, and you would just do the same for the rest of the film. So start from the middle. Once you tack down the middle, work your way to one end. Once you finish one, finish the other side. And then once we finish both ends, we're going to apply heat just to help the adhesive on the film activate faster, and that way it tacks down to the panel. And then once we finish applying heat, we're going to trim off the excess material, and then we can move on with the next installation. Now the last thing to do is to trim off the excess material. So there is a cutout that separates both panels. So when you find that cutout, that's where you would enter your blade, and you would just carefully trim off the excess material. The same steps that was done here, do it to the other side. And for the bottom section of the film, you could tuck in the film as much as you can underneath the panel since there is a small gap, but whatever is excess material, you would just trim it off. So since there is a gap, just enter your blade right in the middle of the gap, and you don't need to apply too much pressure. You just need to lightly put your blade and cut it slowly, and it should remove like that. And you would just continue on with the rest wherever else you have excess material, and then once we're done, move on to the next piece. So now we're moving on to this section of the panel. This panel is a two-piece installation, so we're starting off with the piece that covers the lower section first. So with this one, just place the film on the panel and start by aligning the film to this section of the chrome, and just make sure you have material to cover the chrome underneath too. So if you need to move it, you can. So basically, just follow this body line of the chrome when you're aligning it. That way you cover the bottom section and you should be good there. Lift the film carefully, and then just continue following the body line until you reach it to this end. So once you place it there, you are going to notice this section of the film is lifting. All we need to do is just bring it down slowly, and then we're going to apply heat just to help it tack down on the curve. And once we finish tagging it down, we'll work our way to one side and then to the other side. So apply heat around this area. And you can use your finger just to help it tack down around the curve. If you need to lift it to readjust it, you can. So just make sure you work your way on this middle section, helping it tack down on the curve. And then once this section is tacked down, work your way to one end, help it tack down on the curve, and then work your way to the other end. And make sure to remove any air bubbles as you're tacking down the film. So for this section, you could tuck in the film as much as you can, since there is that gap, like how we had the gap here on the middle piece that we installed. Tuck in as much as you can, and then whatever can't be tucked in, you could just trim it off. So in order to tuck in the film as much as possible underneath the panel, just make sure you squeegee everything, and you can also lift the film and tack it down. So if you carefully lift the film like this, you could apply pressure and some of the film can be tucked in, but it's just being careful not tearing the film too while you're doing this step. Okay, now we're going to apply heat, and once we finish applying heat, we could trim off any excess material that we have. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, there is a small gap where you can insert the blade here. So find that small gap, carefully insert your blade, and you don't need to apply a lot of pressure. It's just passing your blade lightly, and you can trim off the excess material. And also the excess material on this end. So when it comes to installing the last piece on this section of the panel, all we need to do is just place the film here and start by aligning it on this end. The only thing, when you do start here, once you finish installing the film, you might need to relift it and realign it again. Since there is a curve here, we might need to shift the film. So place it here, lift the film carefully, and just use the top half of the panel as a guide to align the rest of the film. So just follow the design of the panel, make sure the entire chrome is being covered, and just follow through. So for this part, it's just lifting and adjusting it to how you want it to be when it comes to aligning the film. Just make sure that the chrome is being covered, and that's pretty much it. So you may encounter these fingers. First, we're going to tack down everything, remove all the air. And once we remove all of the air, then we're going to apply heat to help tack down around the curve and remove these fingers here. And another thing you can do, if you don't want to apply heat to remove the fingers, like I mentioned, you would have to lift the film and reapply it, just like this. All you need to do is just make sure that everything's being covered, and that's pretty much it. So like that, everything's good. No heat required, it was just lifting and readjusting. So now just apply heat to seal all the edges. Since it is overlapping the film, we need to seal this section, and then we'll trim off the excess material. And the same steps that we're done here, you repeat it to the other end, and to finish it off, we'll post heat the entire panel. So the last thing to do once you finish with the entire installation for the front panel is to post heat the entire film. So just grab your heat gun and go section by section, applying heat throughout the entire panel. Take your time when you're doing this, and when you're done doing this process, you're done with the installation. Thank you for choosing Bogar Tech Design. As a small business, your support means everything to us. If you loved your product, please drop a review. If you have questions or issues, don't forget to message us via email. Once again, thank you so much for the support from our family to yours. So that concludes the installation video for the front grille chrome delete installation for the 2024 Toyota Grand Highlander. We hope that the video helped you guys out with the installation. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe and turn on that notification bell. That way you don't miss any of our upcoming installation videos. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.